Envious of Sakamoto's popularity, three delinquents, Atsushi, Mario, and Kinkin tried multiple attempts to bully Sakamoto but failed miserably. In their recent attempt, they accidentally put on a fire on the school laboratory until Sakamoto's quick-thinking skills called Kakuta, a nearby teacher, to put out the flame. With Sakamoto taking the blame for them, the three delinquents started a liking towards him. Sarah tries to gain more popularity by defaming Sakamoto, which failed. During class session, a hornet invaded the classroom. Sarah used this as an opportunity by attacking the hornet, but as he nearly endangered, Sakamoto engaged in a sword fight using a compass against the bee stinger and managed to neutralize the situation without harming it. Having endured the humiliation earlier, Sarah decided to become a comedian instead. With Kubota always lacking money due to being constantly bullied, Sakamoto helped him by getting themselves work at a fast food restaurant. Initially unable to cope with his workplace, Kubota later takes a liking to it. During his payday, the two bullies that targeted Kubota appeared again, but Sakamoto's advice allowed him to stand up against them until Sakamoto arrived and the two fight back against the bullies. Before leaving, Sakamoto complimented Kubota's secret technique and advised him to sharpen it. The second arc focuses entirely on Aina's attempts to flirt Sakamoto, which ended up in failure, partly due to Yagi and Tanaka. While the three girls played a kakuri, and they accidentally made Sakamoto possessed by a spirit who then orders the girls to build an arch for him in any form. Yagi and Tanaka uses the students' desk and chairs before Aina finally gives in and helps out of guilt. As their operation succeeded, both Yagi and Tanaka started to gain respect and befriended Aina before heading home. In the end, it was revealed that everything was orchestrated by Sakamoto himself, having pretended to be possessed all the time. Maruyama and the upperclassmen delinquents bullied the first years into becoming their servants. One of the servants is Sakamoto, whom Maruyama tries to put him to use, seeing how efficient he is until Sakamoto overwhelms him. With Kubota's grades falling, Sakamoto helps him study for the next exam. Kubota's mother takes a liking to Sakamoto after his first arrival to their house, and so with Sakamoto coming over to study again, Kubota plans to hide Sakamoto in his house. While Kubota leaves to pick up a textbook, Sakamoto tries to evade Kubota's mother in the house with initial success. Spotting a camera and a disc, Sakamoto uses the chance to trick Kubota's mother into thinking that he had fled into the television. Following that incident, Kubota and Sakamoto decide to study at the library. Kakuta, the class physical education teacher, tries multiple times to catch Sakamoto breaking school rules, but fails miserably. He finally gets his chance when he catches Sakamoto eating in health class, but it is revealed that it was all just a plot to feed an injured bird. In cooking class, Kana-chan encounters a slug inside a cabbage, which Sakamoto skillfully gets rid of. In art class, which involves drawing each of the students' partners, Aina pairs herself with Sakamoto. As it seemed that Sakamoto sketches her as an orangutan, it is revealed that she viewed the art in the wrong way, and its true form is quite beautiful. After a fire breaks out in the school, Sakamoto rescues Akan, who was left behind in the school toilet after everyone evacuated. After Akan and his fellow delinquents accidentally have Sakamoto fall down a hole they dig as a prank, they go on a search for him after his disappearance extends to a week. When they only find his button inside the hole, they assume that Sakamoto had used Akan's trap to get to the other side of the world, though later it is revealed that this is not the case, as the hole is actually shallow. Sakamoto had entered the trap on his own, in believing that they were digging for a hot spring, and that he could help. When it is Sakamoto's turn to throw the softball, Kubota accidentally gets hit, causing a nosebleed. Sakamoto stops the bleeding by ripping off part of his shirt and wrapping it around Kubota's head. Seeing Maruyama's traumatized behavior when they talk about Sakamoto, Hayabusa goes to see Sakamoto. Due to a misunderstanding, Hayabusa thought that Sakamoto orders class 1 to 2 girls to assault him when they meet, and is under the impression that Sakamoto has taken control of class 1 to 2 students. Hayabusa asks Sakamoto to meet him at the riverbed after school, but Sakamoto declines, as he is cleaning duty. In order to make him go, Hayabusa's underclassmen try to make him angry by stealing his indoor shoes and ruler, which he named Smith, and leaving notes to give the impression that Hayabusa is the one who did it. Finally, upon seeing a bald Kubota Yoshinobu crying, an angry Sakamoto goes to see Hayabusa. As they are about to fight, a police officer sees them, and Sakamoto gives an excuse that they are just playing Tyoshi Sumo, literally hand-pushing sumo. Despite claiming they are just playing, Sakamoto has all the intention to beat Hayabusa in pushing sumo, which results in both of them fight a rather serious match. After knowing the truth, Hayabusa and his underclassmen go to Kubota's house to apologize and gives him seaweed to make his hair grow faster, and a happy Kubota throws a seaweed party. Several elementary school students follow Sakamoto on their way home. Megumi, Sakamoto's stalker and Class 1's representative, discovered a ghost infatuated to him and tries to warn him. In the end, she graduates from being a stalker to a photographer who takes Sakamoto's pictures. In the epilogue, Sakamoto helped the lunch lady to promote her Neapolitan via subliminal messages. In a video rental shop, Akan and friends trick Sakamoto to help them renting adult videos. After manages to avoid being detected by Aina and friends and Shigemi, Sakamoto faced the shop manager at the counter in a bluff act, who suspects that Sakamoto is still underage. When everything is over, Akan invites Sakamoto to watch the rented videos together, but Sakamoto escapes immediately. Realizing that it is still too early for them, Akan returns the adult videos without watching them. During sports day, Sarah tries to overtake Sakamoto's popularity, or at least make his popularity lower, by sabotaging the events with the cooperation of the rest of Class 1 to 2 boys. Despite all odds, the plan backfires on them, as Sakamoto wins the events with style, and his popularity increases as a result. In the relay race, Sarah ties both of Sakamoto's shoes so that he can't run. Far from giving up, Sakamoto bites the baton with his mouth and runs like a four-legged cheetah. When he passes the baton slips from Yagi's hand due to the baton covered in saliva, which makes them fall down to last place. Seeing Yagi cries while running, Sarah decides to erase Yagi's mistake from everyone's memory by doing a more memorable event, by running naked after the baton is passed to him, to everyone's gross and dismay, though Yagi thanked him later on. Maruyama, Hayabusa and upperclassmen delinquents try to participate in their school's cultural festival by making cotton candy cooked from improvised equipment. Akan suggests to Hayabusa that Sakamoto should be invited to their booth, and Hayabusa seemingly agrees until Fukase, a long-time delinquent with a strange past, interrupts and forces Hayabusa to spill out about Sakamoto. Hayabusa didn't say anything about Sakamoto, and Fukase uses the cotton candy machine to hurt Hayabusa. Meanwhile, at room 1-2, the class is struggling to make their own booth by using balloons, and Sakamoto improvises everything to make their balloon presentations look attractive and convincing. However, two slackers who are seemingly no help to other classmates left the room and sulk about Sakamoto's participation. Fukase approaches them and suggests that the slackers should do something to damage Sakamoto's reputation. The next day, the balloons were destroyed and wanted posters scattered around the campus, accusing Sakamoto for the mishap. Now a wanted man, Sakamoto evades delinquents who are trying to get him because of the reward, and Fukase quietly watches. Sakamoto decides to clear his name. He went in his room and saw the slackers reorganizing their presentation. His classmates convinced Sakamoto to admit the mishap, but he left. Later, a mysterious girl named Akeo, literally girl A, knocks on their room and admits she popped the balloons. One of the slackers utters that the girl is lying, but Michan points out that they shouldn't know that as they left early yesterday. When the slackers opens the door, it reveals that Sakamoto is using helium gas and turning the tables against the slackers. The slackers attempts to pop the balloons, but Sakamoto cleverly intimidates the slackers by popping the balloons using sunlight reflecting on Kubota's mirror. The confrontation ended when the slackers give up and Sakamoto lectures them. With no time left and lack of materials, Sakamoto uses the remaining balloons with invitations attached to them and Hayabusa's cotton candy to craft Yeti costumes, as they organize a Yeti hunting game. As Sakamoto, donning a Yeti costume, runs through the hallway with the slackers, Fukase catches his eyes and Sakamoto returns the latter's gaze. Megumi Fujita, along with Kana-chan and Michan, ate their lunch outside and started recollecting on how they first met Sakamoto. Megumi met him at the entrance exam, where he warmed her trembling hands by heating up her fallen eraser with frictional force. Michan met him on the day of entrance ceremony, where the storm broke her favorite umbrella. Firstly saddened, she then cheered up when Sakamoto treated his broken umbrella like a wine glass and acted like a rain sommelier. Lastly, Kana-chan met him during the day before the entrance ceremony. Since she had forgotten her bag, she held all her textbooks in her hands, and as such, was unable to see forward. When she fell down, Sakamoto caught and Princess carried the books. While the girls are smitten over Sakamoto's initiatives, Kubota on the other hand reminisces his first acquaintance to Sakamoto where his bandage on his ring finger fell and Sakamoto returns the bandage, seeming like inserting a ring. Sakamoto chides Kubota's story, but the girls, upon hearing Kubota's story, felt envious as his first meeting with Sakamoto was the most romantic. When her son Yoshinobu comes down with a cold, Shigemi Kubota gets another chance to romantically pursue her underage love interest to Sakamoto. Taking advantage of her resemblance to her son, Shigemi dons his uniform and goes to school in his place. Although she has plenty of opportunities to make a move on Sakamoto throughout the school day, Shigemi's efforts are thwarted at every turn. During their athletics class, Shigemi chases Sakamoto but falls down, destroying her shell necklace. Sakamoto picks up the pieces and returns it to Shigemi, realizing that she cannot fulfill her desires to be with Sakamoto and recollecting being a mother to Yoshinobu. She resolves to prioritize being a good mother. The next day, Yoshinobu recovers and Shigemi prepares a meal to him. During Christmas Eve, Sakamoto is invited by two college guys to a group date karaoke in order to complete their number, but seeing how Sakamoto attracted the female audiences, they try to sabotage his karaoke moment until he covered it via his operatic singing of a famous poem Der Erlkönig. Hayabusa seeks Sakamoto's help when his father invites him to a fancy dinner with a woman, who he claimed is Hayabusa's stepmother candidate. As Hayabusa has no knowledge about table manners and Sakamoto points out that it can't be learned in a single day, Hayabusa rents a LL-size coat, in which Sakamoto hides in and uses hands instead of Hayabusa's at the restaurant. Later, when they found that Hayabusa's father is cornered by some thugs, Sakamoto and Hayabusa change places to fight them. The woman turns out to be an extortionist, and Sakamoto skillfully fends them off by using the opportunity to tell a horror story about a person eating French cuisine who grows another pair of arms out of allergy. Hayabusa concludes that rather than pretend that they have something they lack, they should make up for what the other person lacks. As Yoshinobu walks with Sakamoto to school, he realizes that he knows almost nothing about Sakamoto, though he assures himself that he will have a lot of time to talk about it later. Hearing that it is the first time Sakamoto has seen snow, Akin teaches Sakamoto how to play in the snow. Frustrated that Sakamoto has surpassed him in everything he taught rather easily, Fukase approaches Akin, suggesting he fight Sakamoto in a one-on-one battle. He then decides to fight Sakamoto in a snowball fight, determining to crush him. Watching Akin trembling in coldness, Sakamoto throws a hand warmer to him. He felt bad because despite his intentions, Sakamoto earnestly just wanted to play, and even thought about his well-being. As he walks home, Fukase approaches him again. Class 1 to 2 reminisce about their memories throughout the year by looking at the pictures taken by Megumi, especially Sakamoto's pictures. Notable events including the day Sakamoto made umbrella arrangements, marathon race day, and the day they went to beach. Hayabusa and the other delinquents have a meeting, and he tells them that Fukase is not going to graduate again that year. Mario and Kinkin points out that Akin is acting weird lately, and alone Akin, holding one of the pictures, gets approached again by Fukase, who persuades him to burn the picture alongside all his attachment to Sakamoto. In the epilogue, during the graduation ceremony, Akin walks towards Sakamoto still giving the farewell speech on the stage, telling him to disappear with a metal bat in his right hand. Picking up from the previous episode, Fukase converses with Atsushi who persuades him to eliminate Sakamoto by burning the picture and his admiration to him. At the graduation ceremony, Sakamoto initiates the graduation speech by presenting a volleyball he retrieved from above. As he speaks to the crowd, Akin approaches Sakamoto with a metal baseball bat. Akin randomly swings his bat against those who try to interfere in his assault on Sakamoto, and Fukase stops the teachers. With the crowd shocked and thinking it is a part of his presentation, Sakamoto extends his speech as he evades Akin's attacks until they reach the rafters. Akin swings his bat again but slips down and Sakamoto quickly grabs his hand. However, Akin swings his bat to Sakamoto's hand and berates him about looking down on his personality. A wounded Sakamoto improvises his speech and tells everyone including Akin about believing in friends. Akin slips his hand and Sakamoto still catches him, proving that Sakamoto has a deep care for his friends. The crowd is delighted and gives Sakamoto a standing ovation. Akin surrenders while Hayabusa's group arrive. Sakamoto heads to the clinic to tend to his wounds and talks with Fukase for the first time. Fukase compares life after high school to a deep ocean while Sakamoto, filled with hope, says that he will swim through that deep ocean to find new opportunities. Hayabusa, determined to put an end to Fukase, waits outside while Sakamoto approaches him and suggests a non-violent way to eliminate Fukase. As the graduates march with Fukase looking on, Hayabusa and his group enters and congratulates Fukase. With the help of Sakamoto, Fukase is thrown out during the graduation ceremony. Kubota narrates the aftermath of the ceremony. Akan was unpunished, believing that he was part of Sakamoto's presentation. Fukase was seen on a beach holding a surfboard, and a rumor about Sakamoto leaving was found to be true. Sakamoto was selected by a space administration in America, and he will pursue his studies to become an astronaut. The 1-2 class bids farewell to Sakamoto by means of pie throwing, which Sakamoto easily dodges as he leaves the classroom and holds a single pie in his hand. Hayabusa also bids goodbye to Sakamoto. At the school gate with Kakota guarding, Sakamoto approaches with smothered pie on his face. He is asked who he is as his face is covered by pie, and he simply says he is Sakamoto.